So for those advisors that are considering a sale, let's say a partial sale at this point, why are they doing it? So I've helped several advisors sell their entire business. And a part of the discussions, we did talk to and interview a few firms that want part of your book, right? They're just buying your revenue so they get all the upside, very limited downside. They don't have to train a new advisor, do any of these things. So let's say that you do go forward and sell 20, 30, 40% of your business. Well, what happens when you go to sell the rest? So when you talk to some of these firms, and most of them, they don't have an example of where that advisor sold the second tranche, or what they would call the corporate drinking word for what the game would be: the first bite of the apple and the second bite of the apple. I mean, we heard that to nauseum. It's ridiculous. So you sell the first bite, that's great. You get some money. Now what? You've got to do the same thing all over again. But then I think you have to understand what type of buyer am I attracting in that second tranche. So I think it limits your ability to sell. And it's almost as though you have to sell that second piece to the broker dealer or the RIA or the OSJ that acquires that first piece, right? So that's one thing. If you're looking for a partner to help you grow, because there are occasions where you can sell part of your business and then receive some cash or maybe even equity as a part of the overall entity, whether that be the RIA or the OSJ or the broker dealer, the firm that's buying you. So if you can receive some of their equity and now you're tied to their growth, that can be very attractive. In fact, I'm talking to a few advisors about that now, where they're tired of the M&A and they want part of the upside. They want to help recruit and they want to continue to acquire and grow. Now they have stake in the overall entity. Now that's attractive. But for the most part, the selling part of your business, unless you have some medical issues, maybe you're not expected to have a very long life at this stage in the game, that does make sense. Or if you're trying to pay down some debt, that does make sense. But for most advisors, I would caution them against it, just because what does your valuation look like? You're getting in bed with another partner. And if I'm coming in and buying you and someone else owns 20 or 30% of your revenue, which part am I getting? Is it the overall entity? Is it a certain amount of clients? It's a little dicey, and it's obvious the firm that's buying part of your revenue, they stand, I think, to win the most, because they don't have these 10, 15, 20-year projections. They want to flip that in the next 3 to 5, maybe 7 years, for the most part, not all. And if I'm buying 10, 20% of your revenues, and that goes straight to my bottom line, I don't have to hire anybody. I'm not paying local expenses and local overhead. And so when I go to flip my company, I mean, that's straight profit, right? So it makes sense for the acquiring firm, doesn't always make sense for the seller. And then when interest rates spike a couple years back, advisors could get 7, 8, 9 times revenue on part of their book, and that's come down quite a bit. So if I'm getting 3 or 4 times revenue for part of my book, what am I getting for that? That's a lower number, and it's good if I'm getting equity in the new firm. But if I'm not, well, I can sell my whole business for that number. Why would I sell part of it at the same multiple? That doesn't make a lot of sense.